assume that the path in question is the spiritual path. There's a lot of paths in life. But when we're talking about a spiritual path, there isn't one right way of getting there. If you want to walk the path to Delhi, it's simple. As long as you know Delhi is south, if you've got a compass, keep walking south. Eventually you're going to get there, or near there at least. But on a spiritual path, there isn't one way. There's innumerable ways. One of the dilemmas, in fact, comes with people thinking this is the only way, my way is the right way. There isn't one right way. As many people as there are walking spiritual paths, there's as many right ways. But so then, of course, how do you know? Because we know that the right way is not the way of ego. We know it's not the way of illusion or attachment. We know what's not the right way. So how do you know? You know by checking yourself every day and asking yourself, are you closer to where you wanted to get? And there are markers. Most of us think of markers as like, I'm halfway there, or I finished, level 1, now I'm ready for level 2. Most of us think about it like that, and those markers, of course, don't exist. There is no level 1 or level 2. There is no halfway there. But what there are is ways of understanding that I'm getting closer. And so, for example, what we know is that walking on a spiritual path takes us away from, farther from, ignorance, darkness, right? When we pray, "Oh Lord, lead us," right? Asatoma sadgamaya. Lead us from untruth to truth. Tamasoma jyotirgamaya. From darkness to light. Mrityordma amritam gamaya. From death to immortality. Well, so there's the path. We are walking from darkness to light, from untruth to truth, from death to immortality. And of course, it's not about reverse aging. It's not about some cream or bottle or tonic or capsule or something like that. It's not even about some magic feat that's going to make your body live forever. It's about a shift in awareness from the self who is mortal, the self who is dying. All of us are dying. Regardless of how old you are, we're dying. Every moment we are a moment closer to death. That is a given. For some it may come quickly, for some it may be many, many decades away, but either way we are all dying in the body. And so death to immortality is about a shift in identification from that which is dying to that which was never born and will never die. And so to know you're on the right path is to ask yourself every day, is there more light? Is there more truth? And that's how you know. And there's very specific even indicators. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks Krishna, what is a yogi like? What's a wise man like? What's the enlightened one like? And Lord Krishna gives him so many beautiful descriptions of what that person is like, that awakened one is like, how balanced they are, how in light they are, how courageous they are, how dharmic they are. I mean, there's all sorts of indicators in our lives. Little things are great indicators. How many times did you lose your temper today? How many times did you say something or do something that you later regretted? Because every time we do that, there's a part of our mind that says, oh, that wasn't me, right? When we say it in different ways, some of us literally say, that wasn't me. Sometimes we say, oh, I didn't mean that. Well, what did you mean? Like, you formed the words. You spoke the words. If it wasn't what you meant, how did it come out like that? Who was speaking if it wasn't what you meant? And what it means all those times that we say or do something that we later say, oh my God, I don't know what overcame me. It wasn't me. I didn't mean it. What it means is in that moment, I wasn't conscious. In that moment, something other than my highest truth was operating this system. This system of my brain, of my tongue, of my lips, of my hands, of my legs. I was not conscious. So a very good marker of how you're doing on the path, is it the right path, is are you getting more conscious? Are there fewer moments in the day that you think, oh, shouldn't have said that, shouldn't have done that? Are there fewer things you regret? Another really good marker is, are there fewer things about other people that annoy you? At least on a deep level. Are there fewer things in the world based on how other people act and speak that make you really upset inside? Because the more times I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't be calm because of what someone else said or did, the less grounded in truth and light I am. The more identified with this temporary physical experience I am than with the eternal being I am. How many times do you ask yourself, as Puja Swamiji would say, what for me rather than what through me? So what are the questions that you ask the world or God? Are we always wondering what's in it for me? Or are we asking ourselves what can happen through me? And these are the markers on the path of knowing that it's right. If you're getting more and more in darkness. Because tragically, even if you think you're walking a spiritual path, it's not like the ego says, oh, you've decided to go spiritual? Okay, I'll just find someone else to bother. No problem. Nice knowing you. I'm out of here. The ego's still there. It's still playing its games. And when you say, now I'm walking the spiritual path, so the ego becomes the one who says that which you want to hear on the spiritual path. And so it tends to go one of two ways. Either the ego starts saying, we are so good. I'm so good. I'm so enlightened. I'm way more enlightened than this guy next to me. Way more enlightened than the lady in front of me. Wait, look, so enlightened. I'm so humble. I'm definitely the most humble person in this room. So that's one way the ego goes. The other way the ego goes is we earnestly embark on the path. We commit to meditation. We commit to being transmitters of love and peace. And then our mind wanders. And we find ourselves 20 minutes later in Paris or London when we were supposed to be meditating, or we fall asleep, or we are overcome with boredom or sexual desire or whatever it may be. And the mind goes, see, you are useless. Told you would never be anything. You can't even meditate. Look at this. You are the only one. Everybody else is meditating so nicely. You are the only one sitting here thinking about pizza. You are worthless. You are stupid. You will never get anywhere. Or some variation thereof. So just because we've embarked on a spiritual path doesn't mean that the darkness throws in the towel or the ego throws in the towel. It's still there. We have to be really vigilant about it. So you're walking the right path when you're also aware of the games that the ego plays. And you notice them. And you bring them also into your awareness. And so it looks something like some variation of sound of a bird. Awareness on the breath, awareness on the breath. Smell of toast, awareness on the breath. Or my mantra, back in my meditation, awareness on the breath. You're stupid. Awareness on my breath. Awareness on my breath, my mantra. I want a muffin. Awareness on my breath, my mantra. So it's not that I push it away or yell at it or try to argue with it or debate it. But just like the sound of a bird has entered my awareness, and I bring the awareness back to the breath, back to the mantra. And the smell of something enters my awareness, but I bring it back. In the same way, one of these thoughts comes. But just as I don't hook my awareness into the sound of the bird or into the smell of the toast and lose my meditation, in the same way I don't hook it into that tape that's playing over and over and over again in our minds. So when you can do that, you're on the right path. And if you find that you can do it more this week than last week, you're on the right path. It's not an automatic or immediate thing. It doesn't happen overnight. We didn't get these patterns overnight. But slowly, 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 we rewire ourselves. We rewire how the brain works, how the thought patterns work, how the nervous system works.